What's the most uncomfortable question you can ask someone? Hey, can we have a talk about your search history? Why don't you have any children? I was a chronic miscarrier. My son is a super duper miracle. Where's my hug? Do you have a sister by chance? Would you settle for a brother? Would you settle for me? Crying face. Have you seen our toothbrush? Edit. Christ, this blew up. Thank you all for the silver/gold. How come I wasn't invited? Why are you so quiet? Once, back in college, when meeting my then girlfriend's parents for the first time, her dad greets me with a handshake. Nothing odd about that at all. Then, in mid-shake he says, "So you're the guy my daughter." I was genuinely rendered speechless. Edit to add, he didn't mean it in a threatening way or as an alpha move, and that was perfectly clear in the moment. My girlfriend had warned me that he was a bit of a kidder, and I was also aware of the fact that they were very open when it came to discussing I knew before I met him that her dad knew we were sleeping with each other, and that it wasn't something that had to be kept secret. I just didn't expect to be greeted with it during introductions. I'm a firm believer in equal partnership. So to be fair, sir, your daughter and I are each other. What kind of debt are you in? The mafia are currently fighting a turf war over the collection of said debt. It's made me pretty popular. Doctor, in front of parents, are you sexually active? Now that's when you start bragging, haha. Your dad fist bumps you when your mom isn't looking. Why does no one love me? Well, have you tried paying them with my kindness? I'm not sure if it counts, but if someone asks you, "Hey, can you move over a seat so I can be next to my friend?" Especially if you thought the person asking you was your friend. Why does everyone hate you so much? I hate this one so much. I lived in a small town so everybody knew everybody. High school was rough. I didn't know how to stick up for myself and soon became the scapegoat for bullies and rumors. Once our senior year hit, people matured a little and started being nicer to me. I made a lot of friends suddenly and all of them would ask, "Why does everybody hate you? You're not like they say." It was awkward because most of those people were the ones contributing to the rumors/bullying. I don't know. Why did you? Gods, I wish I could go back in time and ask a few people that. Weren't you pregnant? Edit. I seem to have struck a chord here. If I could give you a hug, I would. I ran into someone I hadn't seen since she was pregnant. Me. How's being a mom? Her. Oh, I'm not. Edit. I'll never ask again. Edit 2. Hope all the parents who endured miscarriages and stillborn are in a better place now. I miscarried a few months ago shortly after telling everyone, and now it's an awkward conversation every time I see someone who knew when I'm out drinking. Are we still friends? Or, who's your best friend? Especially when one of your friends asks it. I once had a stranger tell me I saw that, and I was like, "Saw what? You were checking out that girl." I honestly had no clue what he was talking about because I seriously wasn't checking out anyone, but he kept insisting that I was and that I should stop denying it. The dude was like 40. What the was his problem? Embarrassing, man. You don't have to lie. Why are you getting mad? Only guilty people get defensive. That is not correct. I'm getting pissed because you're accusing me of something I didn't do. That's exactly what he said. He was like, "Dude, it's okay. It's normal. Nothing to be ashamed about." I was confused AF. What color underwear are you wearing right now? Joseph and his Technicolor Dreamcoat chuckles. At a job interview, do I have to do a drug test? You do now. I actually asked this question once and I was told if we tested everybody we wouldn't have enough employees. Lamau. Did you bathe properly today? This is a conversation I had to have with a coworker once. His smell was very distracting for everyone in the office. Guy's wife had died and he just sort of stopped taking care of himself afterward. A couple of us got him set up with a therapist. He left the company shortly after for a less stressful job, but I saw on FB a while later the guy is doing much better. Good to hear he is doing good now. Why is that clown following you? He's my boyfriend, sleepy face. If you come in the back office with me right now, just you and me, are you gonna be cool about it, or be a snitch? Asked by my old boss at a grocery store. He just was offering me shots of Fireball because it was almost closing time on New Year's Eve. But that phrasing. Are you uncomfortable? If they say no, then you should reply with, "Do you want me to make you uncomfortable?" while unbuckling your belt. On a scale of 1 to 10, how pretty do you think you are? It's bad because if you give yourself a high score they'll assume that you're egotistical, and if you give yourself a low score they'll either assume that you're insecure or that you're fishing for compliments. Everyone always answers this with 7. I say 7 if the person asking is hot, 6 if they're not. I'm a 6 in case you're curious. Can you tell me something about yourself? If it's not in a professional setting, my go-to is I have 3. Depending on their response, it's either a great conversation starter to break the ice, or we wouldn't get along well anyway. Hey, we need to talk. This is the worst, especially over text. Deleted. I always thought asking a soldier how many kills they have is the absolute worst thing you can ask, unless they are proud of it. In that case, fire away. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? This is why I hate interviews. I don't even see myself doing anything in an hour and they think I have 5 years planned already. WTF. Say, I see myself with your job. Total mad lad move. What do you think of me? Whenever someone says this to me I'm always so puzzled and awkward about the whole thing. What do you want me to say? Well, there's the divide. Many people ask the question more implying tell me something that will make me feel you're sincere, but will flatter me versus tell me what you literally think. People like to be valued but not measured, seen but not observed, heard but not scrutinized, understood in the moment but not understood in totality. The former makes them feel significant, the latter reduced. I saw an old high school acquaintance at a club once. She had always been super skinny and ate chest, but this night she had a very pronounced belly. I assumed since she had always been skinny and only had grown in her belly that she was pregnant. She was not. Editing this after my BF insisted that I tell the whole story. I can't remember exactly how I asked her, but she replied in a half laugh that she wasn't pregnant. Me, thinking she was joking, replied, "Oh, just a big lunch then?" while patting her stomach. Then I laughed and walked away. My cousin later told me what I had done and informed me that she had a 1-year-old and hadn't lost her baby weight. I will never do that again. As a male I operate under a policy that the only time that you can ask a woman if she's pregnant is if she is in active labor and the baby is crowning, and even then you must exclaim surprise that you had no idea. That is a really excellent policy. The one time I asked, it was so obvious that she was pregnant. Skinny all over, huge pregnancy belly, but she wasn't. Enjoying the content? Don't forget to like and subscribe. We put out new videos every day. While you're smashing that like button, here's a meme to entertain you. Male ER nurse here. I'm always asking embarrassing questions to the female patients, especially if they're young. Are you currently sexually active? Do you have any STDs? Was asked by the charge nurse to discharge a 16-year-old female patient for vaginal discharge and to tell her how to clean/medicate herself. I told her no. Do you really want a guy to tell a young girl how to clean herself and to not have for 3 months while on meds? She agreed and did it herself. I'm not sure which I'd hate more, being a male nurse asking a girl if she's sexually actively or being a male patient being asked if I'm sexually active by a female nurse. On a somewhat funny tangent, I had to take a Cutane in freshman year of high school. First question, have you impregnated someone while on this medication? No. Second question, have you become pregnant while on this medication? No. For context, asking a 15-year-old male who doesn't even want to talk to anyone if they've had is a surefire way to make them want to compress into a singularity just to avoid talking to anyone. Is it cool if I shoot some smack real quick? Best results at family gatherings. Do you think your friends ever regret meeting you? Not generally, no. Friendship is largely optional on their part. Is it in yet? I was starting in 4 on a patient. She said something like, I was going to ask you if it was in yet. I didn't even feel it. I wanted to say something like normally this is the worst thing for a man to hear so bad. But you know, professionalism, you'll feel a little prick. Tell me about yourself. Windows has decided to shut down. When are you going to get married/have kids? A non-pregnant woman, how far along she is. Depends on the person. For a lot of women, it's so when are you guys going to have a baby? I literally had to tell my mill that we're trying and that we haven't used protection for some time now. Embarrassed her enough to back off the topic forever. She's very old school. I've been massive loads of to your daughters for several months now. The way to combat an awkward question is to provide an even more awkward answer. Best of luck to you too, by the way. Edit. Please don't follow this advice. It's a dumb joke on the internet and you risk ruining your relationships with loved ones if you actually follow my suggestion. Don't do that. To the couple, Which one of you is the girl/boy? Actually, we're both the boy. It makes being in a relationship rather confusing. Some dude to me on Discord, how big are her boobs? I'm a guy. Where'd you get that watch? While you're standing next to someone at the urinal. I was telling someone about some good news I had recently gotten and they said congratulations. But someone overheard only the last bit and immediately jumped to wait, are you pregnant? In front of a bunch of other people. Never ask someone if they're pregnant, wait until they tell you. Otherwise you could make things super awkward if they are pregnant but they're not ready to tell anyone. They're trying but haven't been successful yet, etc. No, where are you actually from? West Philadelphia? Born and raised. Oh. This is one I've had to do. A coworker/friend I had in the USAF had just broken up with her fiancé Juan was stationed across the globe at another base. We hung out enough that others in the workplace joked we were dating. We were friends but definitely not romantically compatible. Plus she was engaged. So here's where it gets weird. She's a pretty conservative girl in a really genuinely wholesome kinda way. And about a week after she's broken up with her ex, I'm in my dorm room on base doing. I was jerking off alright? And as I'm scrolling through pictures, I see her. Like, it's gotta be her. But there's no way she'd let her ex take this picture, right? Definitely not let him post it online. So now in the middle of my alone time I'm faced with a moral conundrum. Because this could be revenge posted of my friend and she'd probably like to know it's out there and have it taken down if possible. But that means I have to find a way to discuss this with her to let her know what I may or may not have found. There is no winning in this situation. And of course I've gotta talk to her. So I text her saying I need to ask her something in person. I go over to her dorm and as nervous as I've ever been in my life, I have to ask if her and her ex ever took any photos. She was like, what? After some very awkward explanation she told me it must just be someone who looks exactly like her, like same mole on same cheek alike because they definitely never took any pictures like that. We both breathed a sigh of relief because she thought I was gonna ask her out, a week after she broke up with her fiancé, and wasn't sure how to turn me down gently. And me for all the previously explained reasons. So yeah, asking an opposite friend about whether or not their ex might have leaked their revenge has gotta take the cake. Why do you have cut marks on your arm? Cat got me. That cat makes some surprisingly parallel scratches. To guests at a funeral, do any of you watch Jim did, and now he's dead, really makes you think. Went on a camping trip with a friend of mine and her friend who had just met that day. We had a few-hour car ride. I was sitting in the back seat, and I just happened to be a chill, quiet person who keeps to myself. She proceeded to ask me, why are you so quiet? Were you abused as a child? Were your parents overbearing and outspoken so you stay quiet? I've barely known you half a day, chill TF out. Can we become best friends, after meeting for 3 days? People do that? Yeah, surprisingly. And it's not like, hey, you are so nice, we will be BFFs someday. It's let's become BFFs. Have you ever considered plastic surgery? That's just insulting. Just have a casual conversation about anything. Corona, politics, grandparents and ask immediately afterwards, anyway, how's your sex life? The room has taught me a lot about life. Why are you Who says I'm You are gay. This one popped up out of nowhere during a lunch with a group of friends. Dude just asks me out of the blue, you don't like me, do you? No prompting, no conversation leading up to it. The only thing I can even think of is that in the days leading up to it, I told him I didn't want to go LARPing and told him no when he invited himself over to spend the night at my wife's and my apartment so he would be that much closer to the LARPing location. For reference, he lived maybe 15 minutes away from us and LARPing was maybe 45 minutes to an hour from there. We had only met him a few times total at this point as a friend of our friends. To answer the question, I mean, yeah, you make me uncomfortable inviting yourself over and being pushy/guilt tripping about things. But let's not make a scene at lunch, bro. Do you love me? I see you dumped that loser husband. Good for you. He died 2 months ago.